just got me extremely disturbed, okay? Because we're talking about another mortuary service or like cremation place. You know, it's a funeral home. Um, the stuff they're doing to these bodies, man, it just, it takes me back to that nasty body broker guy in Detroit. Arthur Rathburn. It's just like another similar to a case like that, but not really. Wow. It's sad. It's really sad what they're doing to these people and to the families. Okay. This particular woman right here that I'm going to talk about in this article, her body was found at this mortuary for more than a year. Okay. I mean, she had been at the mortuary for more than a year. And in a minute, after I read this, I'm going to show you where they were actually shut down last year for the same thing, which is odd. But they were shut down because they had bodies, improperly refrigerated. Okay. So let me go ahead and read this, then I'll play the video, and then we'll go to the one from last year so y'all can see this. It's in Cincinnati, Ohio. The body of Nancy Jo Roberts has been at a mortuary for more than a year now. How does something like this happen? Haphazardly, Fox 19 now has learned. As it turns, the state doesn't officially track cases like hers. And as of right now, her family is still not being told what happened to their beloved sister and aunt, a developmentally disabled woman who would have celebrated her 77th birthday just a few days ago. Roberts had a happy upbringing. Despite her limitations since birth, her parents raised her to be strong and independent. My aunt was very capable. She was able to take care of her own hygiene. She was able to cook and clean. My grandmother really taught her well, said her nephew Dave Lord. The one thing my aunt couldn't do, she couldn't express to you her fears, her dreams. She couldn't speak clearly. Lord claims that several years ago, while his aunt was in a Cleveland area nursing home, she was raped by a worker there. That man went to jail. Justice was served in that case. Nancy was then transferred to the North Bend group home in Cincinnati, where she lived for 3 years. Family routinely flew her to visit them during the holidays. But with Robert's declining health and no family living in Cincinnati to check on her regularly, Hamilton County Probate Court assigned Joe Stinger as guardian. A social worker with the group home contacted Mr. Stinger, who then, with his attorney, prepared and filed the papers with the court. An expert evaluation was filed. The court investigator went out, visited with her, served her notice, prepared his own report. A hearing was held, and the magistrate determined that indeed Miss Roberts needed to have a guardian at that particular point in time. The family says nobody reached out to them. On the application the guardian filed with the probate court, he listed there was no known next of kin, says Ratterman, who explained under Ohio Revised Code 2111, next of kin who live out of state do not need to be notified, which is bullshit. Lord insists all they would have to do was ask. According to court documents, Stinger would visit Nancy monthly. Fox 19 now stopped by Stinger's house to question him about how Roberts died. His wife said that he was not home and he never got back in touch with us. Stinger had moved Roberts from North Bend to the Veranda Gardens nursing home. Her family, though, had no idea she had been moved until her brother called North Bend one day to speak with her and was told she was no longer there. The guardian moved her from the facility where she was happy to this nursing home, where 7 months later she passed away. The family asked why no autopsy was done. The Hamilton County Coroner's Office tells Fox 19 now it was a non-coroner's case. The coroner usually gets involved if there is anything unexpected or unnatural about a person's death. According to her medical records, it appears she died of natural causes related to heart failure. This was a non-coroner's case and she did not need an autopsy. Robert's body was brought to Premium Mortuary Services. The same mortuary Fox 19 now has investigated twice in the past several months after State Board fined them for multiple violations. It was actually Robert's body that triggered a firestorm of controversy this past summer. Owner Casey Liston talked only to Fox 19 now about what really happened there. It was late Christmas Eve 2016, just after midnight, when Lord's family got the call from Veranda Gardens, the Hamilton County nursing home. A court-appointed guardian had moved Roberts to several months earlier. Calling to inform you that your sister Nancy passed away last night, and Joe Stinger got on the phone and said he didn't have anything else to do with it. My aunt now that she passed away. It's true that Stinger's role as guardian ended the minute Roberts died, but her journey into limbo was just beginning, with her body being taken first to a Coleraine Township funeral home. Once they realized she was going to be an indigent case for Coleraine Township, they did not want to handle the case anymore. So Coleraine Township told them to send her to us, said Liston, the owner of Premium Mortuary Services in Carlisle. When Lord saw Fox 19 Now's report detailing multiple violations at Premium Mortuary Services, he grew concerned. My heart just sank at the bottom of my gut. Meanwhile, it was a strong odor from Robert's unembalmed body that triggered the entire investigation of Liston's business. Anybody would ask, why? Why would you still have a body for a year? Said Paul LeMasters, a death care attorney who represented Liston throughout the investigation. And until you know and understand that legally, because we have no other choice, there is nothing we can do. So how does Premium Mortuary become the dumping ground for bodies that funeral homes don't want to deal with? Liston says becoming a holding facility has grown his business. They are limited by law as what they're allowed to do. All they can do is accept the body. Premium Mortuary could not do a thing to the body. The only person who was in a position to help the family, Liston, had his hands tied. Can't cremate, can't bury, LeMaster said, replying to questions asked by Fox 19 Now. When it comes to Roberts, you hold her and keep her in the most dignified way you can. There is still no death certificate and no cause of death. Had we done an autopsy last year, we would have had a cause of death and a death certificate, and my aunt would be at peace and the family would have closure on this. Again, the state does not officially track indigent cases such as these. Liston has had long conversations with the family, and here's their heartbreak. Premium Mortuary reached out to Lord this week, offering to bury Roberts and give her a proper funeral at their expense, to put the family and Roberts at peace. To bury her, Liston would need a funeral home and funeral director to process the death certificate, for a doctor to sign the death certificate, permission from her family, and a few more pieces of information. Lord and his family are considering their options for Robert's burial now. Though this is an extreme case, those who don't live near loved ones or check on them regularly could end up in a similar situation. What I don't understand, though, is why didn't they contact somebody after holding the body for a certain amount of time? That's what they should have done. If they didn't have any family to contact, they should have contacted the authorities and, been like, hey, I have a body in here. It's been here for a while. Who does it belong to? What do we need to do? Because that's terrible. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to here. Oh, hold on. My bad. Let me go back. I'm going to play this video. Sorry, y'all. I'm going to play this video real quick, and then we'll go to the next one.
Investigation, and this should be a wake-up call for any family considering putting a loved one in a nursing home. Stefano DiPietrantonio is live in Warren County at the mortuary where Nancy Jo Roberts' body has been for more than a year now, riddled with questions. Steph?
Trisha, yeah, think about that. For more than a year that Nancy Jo Roberts has been here, and as of right this minute, the family still has no idea how she died. A developmentally disabled woman who would have turned 77 years old this week. Nancy Jo Roberts had a happy upbringing, one of 6 children. And despite Nancy's limitations since birth, her parents raised her to be strong and independent.
One thing my aunt couldn't do, she could never express to you her fears, her dreams, but she couldn't speak clearly.
Nephew Dave Lord claims while his Aunt Nancy was in a Cleveland area nursing home, she got raped by an employee there. He went to jail.
Justice was served in that case.
Nancy was then transferred to the North Bend group home in Cincinnati, where she lived for 3 years. Family routinely flew her to visit them.
And my mom would fly her down to Florida even after she was in the home there and be with the family at Christmas.
But with Nancy's declining health and no family living here to check on her regularly, Hamilton County Probate Court assigned Joe Stenger as guardian.
The social worker with the group home contacted Mr. Stenger, who then, with his attorney, prepared and filed the papers with the court. An expert evaluation was filed. The court investigator went out, visited with her, served her notice, prepared his own report. The hearing was held, and the magistrate determined that, indeed, Ms. Roberts needed to have a guardian at that particular point in time.
The family says nobody reached out to them.
On the application the guardian filed with the probate court, he listed that there was no known next of kin.
Chief Magistrate of the Hamilton County Probate Court, Paul Ratterman, explained, under Ohio Revised Code 2111, next of kin who live out of state do not need to be notified.
All he would have had done was ask, does she have any family? And they'd say, well, yeah, we called her sister Mary or her brother Pete for her. They sent packages, they sent cards. We have cards that are postmarked all the way up to the day she died.
According to court documents, guardian Joe Stenger would visit Nancy monthly. We stopped by Joe Stenger's house to question him about how Nancy died. His wife told us he was not home, and he never got back in touch with us. Stenger moved Nancy from North Bend here to Veranda Gardens Nursing Home. Nancy's family, though, had no idea she'd been moved.
The guardian moved her from the facility where she was happy to this nursing home where she, 7 months later passed away.
So the family wanted to know why was no autopsy done. Well, the Hamilton County coroner tells me there was no need for one. This was a non-coroner's case, but that's not the end of the story. Nancy's body was brought here to Premium Mortuary Services. Yes, this is the same mortuary we investigated twice last summer and in the fall after the state board fined them for multiple violations. But will Nancy's family ever learn what happened to her? We're going to have the rest of that story a little later here on Fox 19 Now. For now, we're here live in Carlisle. Stefano DiPietrantonio, Fox 19 Now.
Looking forward to it, Steph. Thank you very much. New at 10.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to this. Now this one is this is the article from last year. This is when the investigation started, okay? Premium Mortuary Services in Ohio shut down after mold and maggots found. Carlisle, Ohio. An Ohio crematory has been shut down by the state after several refrigerated bodies were found to be decomposing, including one covered partly in mold, another that had begun to mummify, and a third that was being eaten by maggots. The Ohio Board of Embalmers and Funeral Directors voted Monday to suspend the license of Premium Mortuary Services in Carlisle. The board says an inspector visited the mortuary last week after receiving a complaint. Upon arrival, he noted a slight odor of decomposition coming from a garage door that was slightly ajar. Inside, he found 2 coolers not functioning. The board's report say 7 bodies were not embalmed and not refrigerated properly. 1 had been at the facility since February. The mortuary did not respond to a request for the comment. Okay, now this article was done in August of 2017. Oh, damn, man, it really makes you think, you know, like, what the hell? Okay. And then, like, this right here is where they've had a lawsuit against them. Okay, now this was in August of 2017, which tells that a family files a lawsuit against them. Okay, okay, same place. Okay, a Dayton area law firm has filed a lawsuit against the Carlisle crematory, whose license was suspended earlier this month after state inspectors found unrefrigerated bodies there. Richard Schultz, an attorney with Wright and Schultz, says he hoped to expose the truth about premium mortuary services. The Ohio Board of Embalmers and Funeral Directors suspended the crematory's license after inspectors found 15 violations, including bodies which were not embalmed or refrigerated. One body, which arrived at Premium Mortuary in April, had mold on the face and neck. A cardboard container with a body that arrived in February had absorbed what appeared to be oil from the fat of the body breaking down. Sharon Hart of Trotwood told the Journal News that her son, Antoine Hurston, 34, died June 26 at Hospice of Dayton, and Thomas Funeral Home on Salem Avenue in Dayton handled the arrangements. She said she called the funeral home several times inquiring about her son's cremated remains, but was never given an answer and didn't know he was being cremated in Carlisle. When Hart learned her son was there, it took me over the top. Schultz said he hopes the prosecutor's office will consider charging the owner of the crematory criminally. The owner of Premium Mortuary was in Columbus Friday morning answering questions before the crematory review board. The board is scheduled to make a recommendation on their license at an August 23rd meeting, which was last year. Hart said that she believes the business should permanently lose its license. They don't deserve it. No, actually they don't. They should be shut down completely. I can't even believe that, you know, I'm assuming they were opened back up, and then this is a new case with this lady. Because this article right here was February 1st, 2018. This was just the other day. Wow, I mean, the whole thing just disgusts me, okay? You know, this poor woman right here, this is what got me, okay? And then I, you know, after watching this, I mean, I didn't even watch the video yet, I just read the article, and then I looked up Premium Mortuary Service, and this is what I got. You know, and it's like, damn, like, why are they still in operation? It just boggles my mind, because after something like that, they need to be shut down and charged and lose their license and never be able to open anything like this again. I mean, it's one thing when you, I mean, I understand the laws and you have something on a paper that says no next of kin or whatever, but I mean, after holding a body for a certain amount of time, like I say, you should be contacting somebody to find out what is going on, you know, and what do you do next. You don't disrespect someone's body like that, you know? It's just, it's sad, man. It's disrespectful to the person and the family, you know. And this lady, Nancy Jo Roberts, the older woman right here, who died, okay, I don't even really know how she died, All right. It really bothers me because she was developmentally disabled, and she couldn't speak. Which now, I mean, she would probably be labeled as probably, autistic or something. And it's sad. It's really sad because, they put this woman in the nursing home and she got raped there. Like, it just breaks my heart, man. And now they've handled her body like this. That lady did not need to she didn't deserve that. Okay, well, here's a part 2 to this. I'm going to play this. I haven't seen this one yet, so I'm going to go ahead and play this. And see what they have to say about her. It just touched my heart, and it really is sad.
Fox 19 Now investigation about a woman who died Christmas Eve 2016 in a Hamilton County certificate yet. Investigative reporter Stefano DP Trantonio live in Carlisle, where Nancy Roberts' body remains in a mortuary. Steph, this seems unreal.
It does, Trisha, and for the family who's been waiting a long time for answers, it certainly feels that way. Nancy is still here in this building right behind me. We've heard about how she is a developmentally disabled woman assigned a guardian by Hamilton County Probate Court. The guardian moved her to a nursing home, and the family had no idea. When her health declined and Nancy died, she was brought here to Premium Mortuary Services, but it was actually Nancy's body that triggered that firestorm of controversy over the summer. And for the very first time, the owner, Casey Liston, is talking exclusively to Fox 19 Now about what really happened. It was Christmas Eve 2016, just after midnight. Dave Lord's family got the call from Veranda Gardens. The Hamilton County Nursing Home court-appointed guardian Joe Stenger had moved Nancy Jo Roberts to several months earlier.
Calling to inform you that your sister Nancy passed away tonight, and then Joe Stenger got on the phone that he didn't have anything else to do with it with my aunt now that she had passed away.
It's true. Stenger's role as guardian ended the minute Nancy died, but her journey into limbo was just beginning. Her body taken to a Coleraine Township funeral home.
Once they realized that she was going to be an indigent case for Coleraine Township, they did not want to handle that case anymore. So Coleraine Township told them to send her to us.
The family learned her body came to Premium Mortuary Services in Carlisle, and when Lord saw our report detailing multiple violations,
my heart just sank to the bottom of my gut.
Meanwhile, it was the strong odor from Nancy's unembalmed body that triggered the entire investigation of Casey Liston's business.
Anybody would ask, why? Why do you still have a body for a year? And until you know and understand that legal, because we have no other choice. There is nothing we can do.
So how does Premium Mortuary become the dumping ground for bodies that funeral homes don't want to deal with?
Well, what has grown our business is that we are a holding facility.
But who knew they'd be holding Nancy's body for more than a year?
They are limited by law as to what they're allowed to do. All they can do is accept a body.
They cannot do anything to the body. The only person who could help the family, Casey Liston, had his hands tied. They can't cremate.
Can't cremate.
Can't bury.
Can't bury.
So what do you do with Nancy?
You hold her and you keep her in the most dignified way you can.
This has really put you in a position having to hold this body for this long.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for the family. It's unfortunate for the deceased. We're just trying to give her the most dignity and respect that anybody would deserve.
There is still no death certificate and no cause of death. And had we done an autopsy last year, we would have a cause of death and a death certificate, and my aunt would be at peace and the family would have closure on this.
According to Nancy's medical records, it appears she died of natural causes related to heart failure. So this was a non-coroner's case and no need to autopsy. Liston has had long conversations with the family and hears their heartbreak. They reached out to Lord this week, offering to bury Nancy and give her a proper funeral at their expense to put the family and Nancy at peace.
And we need a funeral home and a funeral director to process that death certificate and for a doctor to sign that death certificate.
You know, indigent cases like Nancy's have become a real problem for mortuaries all over the state of Ohio, and you may be wondering why Nancy's family didn't come to pick up Nancy's body once it was brought here to Premium Mortuary. Well, the answer is they simply didn't have the finances to make that happen. And there was also still that question of an autopsy. So, if you're planning on placing a loved one in the care of a nursing home, you need to live in the state where they are and make regular visits, or you might end up in the same situation like Nancy's family did as well, although admittedly this is an extreme case. By the way, Lord and his family are talking with Liston about options, so very soon Nancy Jo Roberts may finally rest in peace. We're live here in Carlisle. Stefano Antonio, Fox 19 now.
Steph, fantastic.
You know, how's that? Okay. I don't know. To me, it just, they didn't hold her in a dignified way. They didn't hold any of those bodies in a dignified way. They said they were unrefrigerated, for God's sakes. So how can anyone even defend what they did? Like, I can't even believe that came out of the attorney's mouth. You know, all you can do is hold their body in the most dignified way possible. But that's not, that is terrible, and it's very disrespectful to the bodies and to the families of the deceased. So I don't know. I'm just gonna go ahead and get off of here. Y'all leave your comments and feedback below. If y'all need to send me anything at all, please do so in my email. It will be listed down below. And you guys have a wonderful day, and I will be back on here later with some more stuff. Thank you.